Alrighty, everybody. Bam. There we go. Hello, everybody. How goes it? How goes it? How is everybody out in internet land? Hi, Sensei. Welcome in, Ghostly. Welcome in. Welcome in. Cryptid. How you doing? And the corporate overloads, right? How you feel? I feel, in terms of health, at least my voice better. So, Moon Runes, happy birthday, Moon Runes! Moon Runes is here, and it's Moon Runes' birthday. Happy birthday. What are you doing for your birthday, Moon Runes? Hopefully it is magical. It better be magical. I demand magic. But no, I feel I did not sleep last night at all, but it was not due to the sickness. I think my voices should be okay. My voice should be all right. But yeah, we'll see how things go. But yeah, my voice should be okay today, Ghostly. Thank you. I worked. You worked. I got some cake though. Yes, cake, and I'm doing something on the weekend. I mean, this is like prime birthday, so it's like you got a whole weekend. I mean, if only you could you take a long weekend? I feel like you should be able to take a long weekend. Be like, everybody, it's my birthday. I'm walking out. And just take the Friday, take the rest of today and Friday, and then the rest of the weekend. I don't know. I say you demand it. Don't these bitches know it's your birthday, is what I'm saying. Hey, Blue of Green, welcome in. Hi, wife. I love that she just calls you wife. But how are you? I hope your day is going well, Blue of Green. Hopefully you're having a good day so far. I mean, you can do anything once. That's true, Cryptid. That is true. You literally you can do anything once. Doesn't mean you can do it with impunity, but you can do it as long as you are able. She's in my phone as wifey. That's adorable. I love adorable. But I will say my knees cracked every time I got it. It was like a sign, and all the way to my destination. Why they call me out like that? Your knees are like. Your knees are like, oh, it's your birthday? Well, here's your birthday gift. And then groan, crack, pain. Did I pull something? I just walked into another room. How is this possible? Yeah. Don't let them tell you how to live your best life, Moon Runes. Ignore them. Ignore your knees. Is what I say. I feel like on your birthday you get to be as young and irresponsible and crazy as you want to be. Now you might pay for it after, but damn it, you've earned it. You've earned the right. Cryptid, wow, rude. I feel that I was fine, and then I went upstairs to get something for Trisha, and now I can't have tea. Oh no! Wait, you can't have tea? While I get wild, ignore your knees. Damn right. I will stand. That's not even an out of context quote, Cryptid. I stand by that. Get wild, ignore your knees. My heart is. Oh, that's why. Gotcha. Okay, Cryptid. Oh, I'm sorry, Cryptid. Ugh. The fact of just being able to do anything at all because it's too much. Yeah. Caffeine. Not a good time for caffeine. Yep. Even though I have Earl Grey and it is so nice. Earl Grey. Very Captain Picard of you. But yeah. I mean you could have caffeinated free tea. That's also possible. I do have caffeine free green tea that I will drink at night. Because I have started to become susceptible to caffeine keeping me awake at night, which has been a recent development. Has not always been that way. But anyway, so I think on the docket for today, we probably won't be doing much streaming, but we will sprinting. We're going to be reading ghostly stuff today. Pretty sure my voice should hold out for it. And that's probably going to be the plan. It's going to be a shorter stream today. But other than that, yeah. And then it's going to be just shouting about how Moon Runes rocks. And the world is a better place for Moon Runes being in it. Fantastic artist. Incredible writer. The most organized writer I have ever seen. But anyway, yeah. So happy birthday to Moon Runes. Yeah, Moon Runes literally showed me how to use the whole scalpel thing. I was like using scalpel like a crazy person. Moon Runes was like, this is giving me anxiety, and then shared her scalpel, and it was so organized. It was like, it was beautiful in color, bro. It was wild. Anyway. The dejected turning off of the electric kettle. Oh, I'm sorry, Cryptid. That does suck. Also, Sensei, what? I have the coolest director photo? Hell yes. I mean, if it depends. Is it cool, pretentious director? I mean, I guess all director photos are pretentious, but there are some that is like extra cool. So what's the vibes of it? You've had a few cool ones. There was that one that you were in Fatigue. It was very like in the action shot, which I felt is appropriate, but definitely in support of badass director shots. You can all do it better than me because I just wore a stupid bear beanie the whole time. I might make my golden milk tea a bit, but hot and also bad, so I need to calm it down. Yeah. Moon Runes does indeed rock, and we're all made better for her presence. Damn right. So organized, kicked so much butt during sprints in Discord. Absolutely brilliant. Damn right. That's how it be. It's how it be. That's the true, according to Cloud Atlas. That tracks. Chaos Gremlin is your default Muppet setting. That's true. Noted. A very mind first sergeant took it of me while I was at an obstacle. Oh, badass. Okay. All right. Let me. No, don't do that. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. It's a posing director picture, but okay, cool. It's good. Definitely on obstacle. Always good. In action. You got the camera. Okay. I'm telling you, Ghostly, that I think your that camera upgrade they got you is pretty damn good. I'm just saying. I think they gave you a good camera. It's kind of blurry if I try to look at the design of the camera, but it's good. It's good. It's a good director. It's a good director photo, Ghostly. Twilight against poses, pro bear beanie and creepy thrones. I mean, there's two different types. For a posing director one, this is good. Ghostly knocked it out of the park with posing director pose here. So, honestly, the fact that it's like the fact that you're like at the top of the obstacle and looking down upon the subjects you are filming, it gives you authority. So you've got that going for you, Ghostly. You're looking down upon all the people, as as a director ought to. But good. It's good. I think it should be your go-to when you make your first directorial LinkedIn. I think that should be your action photo. All right. Where are we at here? Wait, what is Ghostly? The trainees kept falling off, and I was like, "Can I climb up to film?" Hell yeah, yes you can. Don't ask for permission. And he was like, "Sure." So I did. I've done it before, so I'm pretty quick with it. And the drill shouted at the trainees, "Look at the camera lady. She's doing it. That nails and docks." I'm starting to think, Ghostly, that be like camera lady. I'm glad that the drill sergeants are using you as motivation for all these lazy kids. That's very funny. Ghostly, I don't know about that. You'd be shocked. I mean, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked what kind of like director photos actually like in the action director photos will sometimes get you better work than like like an actual like professionally taken photo like headshot essentially. um I love that for you, kiddo. They absolutely are. I'm pretty sure Ghostly's entire purpose while also filming is to just show how much better she is at doing the training, doing these courses than they are. You're just like all these slow kids. Uh oh, that's great, Ghostly. It makes me happy. It makes me happy seeing you out there filming like that, getting and like really getting like filming cool shit. Like it's a lot more interesting than how a lot of people start, where they're just shooting weddings and stuff. Like you're actually getting to shoot some badass stuff. My first job as young AFAB was working on a farm. Okay, and the owner was hesitant to hire me because what can girls do? Of course. And I ended up being the new standard of work ethic. It's often how it goes. Get a lot of that. We got a lot. I got a lot of that in Wyoming as a city kid. The same thing. They were always just like, "You're a city kid. City kids don't get it out here," and I proved them wrong. It's a personal challenge because you. It's. I mean, you're clearly overcoming it. You're getting gassed. You're climbing these things. You might as well. You're gonna be able to outdo all these military kids at this point. It was not easy work. I almost broke my legs twice, but I did. But I didn't, so it was all fine. Yeah, yeah. That's. I'm glad you didn't break your legs though. That's a bonus. That was like boat work was kind of like that, shockingly dangerous, like a lot more dangerous than you would think for like a casual a thing that's supposed to be relaxing and like like your things could go real bad on a boat and you can hurt yourself really bad. Yeah, I learned that. I definitely learned having a head on a swivel as a kid, specifically doing work on boats, particularly like anytime sails are up and everything's not locked down, man. The bad things can happen real fast. Um, I was only 19. Oh, stacking bales in a 3-story hay barn. That's good. That's hefty work too. That is that's real. That's rancher work, boy. If you don't, you probably if you don't stand on the bales right, you will fall through. So don't do that. Exactly. Yeah. Boat work is sketchy. I love it, but it can so easily go wrong. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The first sergeant took that unprompted and was like, "I'll send it to you," and I told him thank you. That I had a mentor who was an indie filmmaker in LA, and I thought he would appreciate it. First sergeant thought that was sick. Apparently, he had heard of the Lovecraft Film Fest. Oh shit! So he lived in Oregon. Yeah, so he would have. Yeah, it's like the Portland Horror Fest and the Portland HP Lovecraft Fest are I think the two biggest film festivals in Portland. That's bonkers. Yeah, exactly. Connections are everywhere. All the lines are crossing. That's cool. First sergeant's got taste. It was cool. 110 degrees in there most days. Oh yeah, it was gonna be in a barn. I used to when I was hanging out with one of my friends' dads was a welder. So one of my first jobs was going out as assistant to him welding out on like Firebird Raceway in Arizona. So like just welding over like the racetracks and stuff like that. But he would also do HVAC work in Arizona. You go up into those attics, man. Like I've seen people just you go up there, you work for 20 minutes and you would just walk outside and vomit because you're just getting heat stroke constantly. Paid really well though. Yeah, those jobs will. Ranch work pays. You can make good money doing that. Yes, it's all coming together, Ghostly. Exactly. He's my favorite first sergeant. Oh, he looks like Rami Malek. And you think that's neat? Okay, yeah. He's a weird looking dude. But Rami Malek's got an interesting look. So, but he's clearly if he knows the HP Lovecraft Film Fest and he likes film, or he's a film nerd, which he clearly is. Getting director photos of Ghostly, then it sounds like he's a badass. He sounds cool as hell so far. I agreed. Agreed. Um, let's see here. Okay, where are we at here? Okay. He's super sweet, great guy. Anywho, yes, good Ghostly, good, good. Make friends with all the sergeants. See, Ghostly, you make friends with all these sergeants, and then you can put them in a movie. Um, that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is being able to round all these people up so you can put them in a movie. And go kidnap them or have them break you. Honestly, the best thing is if they can break you into the base, and then just like get you under, and then you can go film stuff in the base, which would. I don't think so, Sensei. No, why not? Why not? I don't like why. Why not? You go make a movie. They're old. Wait. You can't make a movie with them because they're old. Excuse you, Ghostly. Just that has nothing to do with making a movie with people. Has nothing to do with age. Good lord. Hey, Tukagan, thank you so much, and good luck with the words tonight. So put First Sergeant in a movie. Who cares? You can direct a 40-year-old. I've directed an 80-year-old. That's not hard. 80-year-olds more than twice my age. Just like that. You can't let age be a limiter when you're trying to make movies. You gotta direct people. You gotta go up and be like, you're gonna do this, and this is your motivation. I know, but I'm not trying to just hang out with a bunch of 30 and 40-year-old men in my free time. Are there no 30 and 40-year-old women out there too who also want to make movies? Ugh, God. Which is very funny because Ghostly's like, I don't want to hang out with a bunch of 30 and 40 in your free time while you're in stream with a streamer who is who's on the latter half of that bracket. And a bunch of people in here who are in that bracket. So very funny. Very funny that you don't want to hang out with a bunch of 30, 40-year-olds in your free time when you come to stream and hang out with a bunch of 30, 40-year-olds in your free time. So, I'm just saying, kid. Ghostly. All right, Ghostly, what am I reading? The number of clubhouses I have run. Oh, I'm sure. I am sure. All right, so today the plan is we are reading Ghostly's some of Ghostly's work. Where is it? Ghostly, where is it? There we go. Okay. Got it. So that's probably going to be the whole, so we're going to run the clock like we usually do. Here we go. Let me bring it up. Take my money, you swine. I am Worm Swine. Thank you very much. Capitalist God Emperor Worm Swine. That's me. Let me bring this down. All right, let me figure out how I can bring this. Oh God, I really love this picture, Ghostly. The color, I love the saturated 90s. That's very 90s goth coded. Actually, that it almost, you know what it almost looks like? It almost looks like a oh God, was it My Perfect Valentine, the shoegaze band? It almost looks like the cover for their oh God, I have this album. I have this album on vinyl. I think, is it their self-title? It might be their self-title, My Bloody Valentine. But anyway, it's got that color code vibe going on, Ghostly. You're definitely, if you're going for 90s slasher shoegaze goth vibes, your cover page is knocking it out of the park. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, we are reading today. So anybody who is writing or trying to do words, I will have the timer up if you just want the timer up in the background for while we do sprints. We read during the sprints. But feel free to mute, obviously, because hearing my voice is probably going to be distracting to doing words. So feel free and mute if you want to. Okay. Tag along on this adventure. Okay. Wait a minute. is this? Okay, is that okay? That's the page. Let me try to bring up the page. Okay, cool. I think everyone should be able to see that, I guess. Here, let me see if I can. Wait, is it black? Is it not supposed to be black? Are you talking about the text? I have built up a dragon horde again. I suppose I should also redeem at some point. That's what it's there for. Look, I'm not. I know I'm not your most conventional streamer. I run out of things to have the tort coins be spent on. This is like probably the only main thing, outside of the other redeems. There's not many redeems. We run a loose ship here, folks. Okay. I'm enjoying ghostly writing in a Courier in a is this I'm assuming it's Courier News. Looks like Courier New Final Draft. You fixed it? Okay, hold on. Ghostly sending me more. Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay. Graveyard Rave. It's a great title too. It's a good title. You got me addicted to this font. Old-timey font. That's old newspaper font. The typewriter font. It's actually why screenplays are. Oh, there we go. That makes more sense. Okay, let me close this. Let me. Oh, I cannot. Let me see if I can switch these out. Hey, Jijman, welcome in. Welcome in. We actually, how's it going? How's it going? We are actually, usually we do sprints, but we are reading today. So hopefully if you are trying to get words done, hopefully it won't be too distracting, or feel free to stop by later when we are not reading, but we are reading today. All her stuff is good. She does good work. My wife is so talented. Ghostly is extraordinarily talented, does fantastic work. We're all big fans here. Do. All right, let's see if I can do number 2. There we go. Okay. All right, so you have to bear with me. I'm old and I'm not fast at technology. There we go. All right. Okay. No worries. No worries, Ghostly. It's fine. I do love the cover. I love the cover a lot. The split image, fall vibes, cemetery vibes, saturated reds, orange, purples, and blues. Okay. Shall we? Do you want to dive on in? Ghostly, what's the vibes here? Oh, thank you, Ghostly. Ghostly. The Padawan knows. The Padawan knows how I like to read. Thank you, kid. All right. Okay. Okay, so are we doing all right, we're doing vibes here. Doing vibes. What are the vibes, Ghostly? What are the vibes? It's a Halloween, it's a slasher, so it's horror. Let's see here. Schism playlist. Okay, all right. I can throw the Schism playlist on here. Boop boop boo do. Where are you, Schism? Schism or Iggy's Moon. Okay. Rocking the Schism playlist. All right, let's dive on in. For everybody who is joining us, we are going to be diving on in. For those of you writing, good luck. Oh, wait, we should run ads. Hold on. We're going to run ads, then we're going to start. My bad. I just don't want ads going through everything. Stupid ads. I should set up like a Ko-fi or a Patreon or something and just completely get rid of the ads in general, and then I don't have to worry about it. People can throw me the bucks if they want to, and I don't have to deal with it. I'm getting tired of advertising, everybody. I'm tired of it. Sorry. I'm in a mood. Go. I got too excited. I failed. You're doing fine, kid. Don't worry about it. You're good. We've all had a day. It has been the last 30 hours have not been great. They have not been fun. So I am actually very happy to just be doing to just be reading, and I've been looking forward to reading this. So thank you, Ghostly. It is a gift to get to read your work. It's always a good time. So bring in the good vibes. You should. You could make the QR code do that. That's true. Yeah, it'll probably get set up at some point. I should probably do that. You're allowed. You didn't sleep. Let free the dramatic curmudgeon. Yeah, it's. Ugh. Blech. Blech. Yeah, this is gonna be kicking off the. This I think reading this and then kicking off the weekend, hopefully on a good note. Let's see here. Two. Sensei, whatever happened to Bear Beanie? You know what? I think because we kept joking about it. Okay. Because we kept joking about it. I think I tried to find it. I think it might have died. It might have been sacrificed to the mountain, or it wound up. It might still be in Wyoming. It might actually be in the barn in Wyoming, because the bed, and that's where all the Yeah, I remember you telling me it was 9 pages. I was just trying to look at what kind of 9 pages I was looking at. We'll get through what we can, Ghostly. We'll see if we can get through both. We're gonna do at least 2 sprints. Well, we'll probably only do 2 sprints today. Because I have to duck out. They don't look too bad. I'm not too worried. But I think yeah, I looked around. I have a bunch of bags in my closet filled with like costumes and stuff from the movie. So like the cop jackets and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm trying. I am in a way trying to locate it, Ghostly. I might when I go back to visit my mom. I might dig around up there in the barn and see if it's probably. I mean, that thing had so many holes in it. That stupid beanie was so broken. But if I find it and it is in where it's still wearable, I'll do a thing. Maybe that'll be a stupid redeem is I put on the stupid bear beanie. Okay. All right. Let's do this. I don't think they're super hefty. It's chill and stupid. Oh, Ghostly. Many things you write are very silly, but stupid I would never say. Or stupid in a amusing, very well crafted and witty way, but never just straight stupid. It's definitely an easier read than Jessup or Insults. Okay, all right, okay. For 50,000 door points, let's be honest, it would be cheaper than that. I'm a glutton for validation. If 500, I'll put on the stupid bear beanie. I'm a clown. All right, let's do it. Okay. Okay. All right. Music is good. Okay, let's do it. All right, for everybody writing, happy writing. For everybody who wants to read along, away we go. All right. Graveyard Rave by a Ghost. Fitting. Episode 1. Nice. Nightmare on Gwen Street. The smell of raw pumpkin and cinnamon hung in the musky attic like incense. Gwen was almost convinced her mother had moved every box fan in the house to point to her room. It was the muffled sound of the talking heads and their psycho killer that confirmed her suspicion that it was a trap. A trap she wouldn't fall for. She punched up the volume on her laptop to 76, attempting to drown out the season's greetings with Dead Poets Society. Oh man. It's just so many things, so many 80s and 90s references thrown at me. Though in truth, she couldn't really pay attention. A wall stood between her eyes and mind, entrapping her focus from the outside world. no matter how much she wanted to slip out of her brain. Her door creaked open, which proved as an instinctual release to her constant thought, though it was just to enable a worse pain. Oh no. Hey, sissy, Miss Casper stood at the doorway, a smile pulling out that single dimple on her left cheek. Nice. She leaned on the doorway, her hands resting in the pockets of an awful orange and black knit sweater with jack-o'-lanterns patches splattering. With an awful orange and black knit sweater with jack-o'-lanterns patches splattering it with square toothed grins. Oh, I love this. We all know. We all know it. Gwen pressed the space bar on her laptop, pausing the movie. She forced her, like, literally my bestie has that exact same sweater. She forced her eyes not to linger on all the dark, sticky spots that outlined where the stickers she ripped off had once been. Nice. What's up, Mom? She looked up, the dullness behind her eyes unchanging even as they found her mother. Oh. Teenage vibe. Angsty. I just finished making pumpkin cookies, and Dave is trying to decorate them, but between you and me, they look more like deflated basketballs. She whispered the last part, shielding her hand from the door. Her brown loafers creaked on the rickety wood floor as she crossed the distance to her daughter's bed. It's such a lush opening. Yeah, it's just dripping in vibes. Dave, you were spot on with picking Schism playlist to a jam. But yeah, oh yeah, St. Vincent for sure. All right, very excited for Dave. Apparently, people are shouting Dave out. I just finished and Dave is trying to decorate them between you and me, but they look more deflated basketballs. She whispered the last part, shielding her hand from the door. Her brown loafers creaked on the rickety floor as she closed the distance to her daughter's bed. Gwen tried to force a smile, but she was never very good at that. Yeah, like the gingerbread house from last Christmas. She closed her computer and pushed it away to make room for her mother and the inevitable. The inevitable? Oh, God. Oh, this is you're definitely doing a good job writing from her point of view. Yep. Miss Casper laughed. I didn't marry him for his artistic ability. That much is certain. Aw. She sat softly on the quilt at the foot of the bed, her fingers thoughtlessly picking at the fraying threads. So, I was wondering if you would like to come down and help me make a few that I can actually give to people. Gwen's eyes fell to the muddy orange shag carpet her bed rested on. Of course she has shag carpet. The way the name rather than title dictates just how awkward this household. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Gwen's eyes fell to the muddy orange, the orange shag carpet. I write vibes only. Vibes are the whole battle, man. Gwen's eyes fell to the muddy orange shag carpet on her bed rested on, not having the heart to look her mother in the eye when turning her down. I'm good, Mom. My decorating wasn't much better than Dave's last year anyway. Her mother's sigh sent a pang in her heart. She forced her attention to her short nails as they picked at her rough cuticles, swallowing the shallow guilt that lost its fight. She forced her attention on the short nails as they picked at her rough at the rough cuticles. Yep. Trying to bond. Yep. Do the bonding. Just bond with Mom. They're trying. Angsty teenagers, man. Sometimes they just can't. Gwen, Miss Casper's tone was gentle yet firm. Please, Mom, she cut her off, still not daring to look up. Let me sit this out. I promise I'll make up on the family fun at Thanksgiving, okay? Doing a good job writing angsty, moody, goth teen Ghostly. I'm pretty sure I've actually said those exact same words. I'll make up at some other stupid holiday. Miss Casper leaned over and pressed a kiss to her daughter's head. I won't make you, honey. Just think about it, all right? She rubbed her arm reassuringly. Gwen remained stiff as a board, counting the fibers in her carpet. Sure. Gwen could feel her mother's eyes urging her to return, but she couldn't find in herself to give her that. I was one myself not long ago. Not too hard to channel. That's good. It's just Ghostly remembering her childhood. I mean, that's all kids go through this, but yeah, there's a certain level of like goth angst that just like really cranks the melodrama to 11. Um. Yeah. She felt the bed ease as she became the only occupant. The floor creaked as Miss Casper met the doorway. Nice. And closed it behind her. Your writing's getting cleaner, Ghostly. It's getting you're able to you're starting to be able to put the vibes into like shorter, less like elongated sentences. You're getting very clean and very visceral with your descriptions. So you're able to channel your vibes in less words, and that's impressive to see. It's very punchy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, words are more potent now. Yeah, it's very punchy. Ghostly's channeling all that wordy wit into like punch, and it's working. It's working its magic. Gwen could feel her mother's eyes urging her to. Yep. Yeah, there we go. She felt the bed ease as she became the only occupant. The floor creaked as Miss Grid met the doorway and closed it behind her. The air thinned in the absence of her mother, filled by loneliness and the lingering musk of grief. Nice. Gwen fell back into her bed, burying her head in her pillow. Yeah. As one does. As you oft do at that age. She thought it would be better. She thought it would get better with time, but it had been 8 months without reprieve. Her room felt colder than it usually did, even for this time of year, or for the time of year. She knew it wasn't realistic, but something at the back of her mind blamed the miscolored squares on the wooden walls and rafters, the corpse chalk outline of her horror posters that would watch her sleep. That's a description. The corpse chalk outline of her horror posters that would watch her sleep. That's good. That's good, kid. The attic felt empty and hollow, void of the once colorful life that came with a passion and obsession. Oh yeah, we're talking about depression. She rolled over, her eyes landing on the creaky wooden bookcase that stood in the corner like a cold looming sentinel. The pitiful 7 books that sat at the lean in one pitiful 7 books that sat at a lean in one shelf seemed to beg her for death. Gwen had never been much for reading, but she certainly was one for figurines. There was still footprints through the dust where the ghost face would stand beside the creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh man, yeah. She's got a whole bunch of horror action figures. This kid rocks. These descriptions work to set both tone and genre. It's so good. If I was working on this, yeah, proofreads, yeah, for sure. It's really punchy. Or she used, yes, she used to once more, yeah. When the passions were the passions. Gwen huffed as the sight only made the pang in her chest worse. She grabbed her pillow and buried her head in it, willing herself to miraculously fall asleep. Her attempt was short-lived. The squeal of the window opening snapped her upright, tearing her gaze to the glass and the bladed figures scraping across the windowsill. Nice. Her heart skipped a beat, and a cold sweat washed over her. It's just baby Ghostly with more depression. Oh no. Quick whispers, quite good, outing me in front of my friends. Gosh. Yeah, too late. Her heart skipped a beat, and the cold sweat washed over her. Like an instinct, she grabbed a lead baseball bat beside her bed, her mismatched socks meeting the carpet. I love naturally immediately going for the bat. Yep. A fingerless gloved hand pulled the window up the rest of the way. Oh man, is this gonna be like Scream? Are you setting up a Scream moment, Ghostly? You invited her here. I'm not sure what else you expected. Yeah, that's. I promise. I aim to. What is it from Serenity? I aim to misbehave. Promise to not behave. Yeah. I think we might be setting up a Scream moment here. Her heart skipped a beat in the cold. Yep. Grabbed a lead baseball bat. Yeah, her mismatched socks meeting the carpet. A fingerless gloved hand pulled the window up and the rest of the way. A familiar brimmed hat rose from below. Gwen raised her bat, mentally prepared to paint her empty wall with brain matter. She was tense to swing when the intruder looked up, and she met some even more familiar brown eyes. Damn it, Oz! Ah, it is. She breathed, her head falling back. The bat hit the floor with a hollow thunk. Yep. Boyfriend sneaking in. Boyfriend and or friend sneaking in through the attic. Just classic Scream. Gotta always set that up. Perfect 90s slasher vibes. Ozzy only smiled as you rolled in through the window with practiced experience. What, Gwenny? Did I scare you? Or did you just think you were dreaming? I even read that, smarmy. He winked up at her from the floor. The iconic green and red strip sweater hung off him more tattered than it should have been. How long have you been practicing that? She sighed, her eyes still unamused. Yeah, exactly. Since I found this costume at the back of my brother, at the brother's closet like an hour ago. It's better when you realize he's dressed as he's dressed as Freddy Krueger. Oh, I got you. Okay, the iconic red and green striped sweater hung off like, oh, I should have picked up on that. Or did you just think you were dreaming? That does make that line. That makes that line that gives you that gives you an out there. Allows him to be smarmy, but also have it make sense costume wise. Since I found this costume at the back of my brother's closet like an hour ago, he stood from the floor with a bounce in his step, turning and falling onto her bed. Next time, I'm actually going to kill you. She closed the window, locking it now. Nice. You said that last time, and the time before that, and if I'm not mistaken, the time before that as well. He took the singular stuffed animal that had survived the purge of loved belongings. It was a well-worn black cat Beanie Baby. Nice. He tossed it in the air above his head, his hands held out to catch it, but more slender fingers beat him to it. What happened to you? You look like you crawled through a wood chipper. Gwen stood over him, stuffed creature in hand. Nice. Oz's smile was just as annoying upside down. Yeah, bladed fingers hat. Yep. Gravity pulled off. Oz's smile was just annoying upside down. Gravity pulled off his crinkled brim hat off the side of the bed. I made some modifications to my sweater. You like? No, you just look like a victim of a honey badger in heat. Ghostly. Why did you do this? She wove a finger through the gaping hole in the shoulder, tugging on it. Simple, Gwen dear. Sexiness. He wiggled his eyebrows to further emphasize the point. Oh my god. This kid? Really? Oh, Oz. I love blue and green. Yuck. Ugh. Ghostly. I love him. He's my favorite. I can tell he's your favorite. It's like Leo Valdez on steroids. Yeah, he definitely he's coming to, I mean, he's definitely the sort of pitched. I can see this being Ghostly's favorite. Probably favorite to write too. He is such a stooge. He's wonderful. He's a goober is what he is. Yeah. She released the Beanie Baby and let it flop onto his face. It's not working. Yep. Rude. He muffed through the cat. Gwen sat on the edge of the bed, her eyes finding the bare rafters again. What do you want, Oz? She sighed. He set the stuffed animal aside, sitting back against her headboard to face her. Is it a crime to visit your best friend now? She gave him a cold, lazy look of knowing disbelief over her shoulder that said more than words. He scratched his chin with a plastic-bladed finger. He mock winced. Jeez, tough crowd tonight. Gwen grabbed his hat from the ground and threw it at his face. Picked up the music, went straight to punk rock right there. There we go. Grabbed his hat from the ground and threw it at his face, so there was no force in the gesture. What have you come for here? What have you come here for, Lorenzo? And if you say to make me, to take me out, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oz sat up like Dracula. Nice. The hat falling in his lap. Don't need to start government naming Guinevere. Oh, her name's Guinevere? It's always such a pretty name. He had his hands up in defense, but his smile was daring. That's good. That's good. Government. Don't need to start government naming. Gwen's eyes were narrowed. Spill your guts before I do it for you, Ozzy. I love his name's Ozzy. His short name is Ozzy. Good. Oz leaned back. It's all themed on point. You're doing the Black Sabbath thing. You're definitely covering your bases, Ghostly, for goth, moody, dark. Yeah, you're doing Freddy naturally. The only note I'd have about Freddy is you should probably have him quote Freddy at some point when he comes in. I don't, maybe because I know are you still dreaming bit's funny, but you know, good. The one thing about Freddy's is he's always got zingers. Freddy's always got those zingers. Sometimes an annoying number of zingers. Spill your guts, I do it. Oz leaned back against the headboard, one hand held up in front of him. Yeah, you just don't, you don't need to, like, you made it pretty obvious. I mean, I missed it, but you make it pretty obvious as you're kind of building up the costume he's in, but just like, because that's kind of Freddy's whole shtick, is he always has these, like, really cartoonishly dumb one-liners. So, like, give him, he doesn't even have to actually quote Freddy, just give him, like, a kind of doing the voice quote. Because Freddy's got that iconic kind of voice. And pose. He always, like, poses and does something dumb. Everyone else who's read it has also missed it, so I add a little more. Yeah. I should have picked it up with the color, the sweater, but yeah. The hands, pretty much the hands, or have him tap on the glass with it. That's a good way to clue in the knife hands. Pretty much knife hands, and they'll figure it out. Oz leaned back against the... Oh, wait. Yeah. Oz leaned back against the headboard, one hand held up in front of him, the other dramatically over his forehead. Oh, please don't kill me, Miss Gwen. I want to be in the sequel. Oh, God, he is. He is a Scream kid. Every conversation, he's got to be talking meta about horror movies. He puffed his lips in a poultry expression as he looked up at her through his lashes. You're totally doing what's his name from Scream, but mixing him with the film nerd kid. Leave me alone. It's like the film nerd kid, but then putting him in like the very like charming, overly charming, like the hot guy who obviously, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Scream, though one of the bad guys. She has a type for sure. Man, Ghostly, bringing your wife in. She is just outing you left and right. But nothing we all couldn't figure out, particularly given your love of the Virgils, who are literally cartoon characters almost like this. If it's not obvious in her writing, yeah. I did write in the most Virgil of all possible Virgils, and and she definitely loved it. So, or it definitely, she seemed like she had a good time with it. So yeah, it's a type. Oh, please don't kill me, Miss Gwen. I want to be in the sequel. He puffed his lips, the pouty expression as he looked up at her through his lashes. Gwen groaned and fell back on his bed, or on the bed. Gwen groaned and fell back on the bed. You're impossible. Close. My middle name is Incredible. Oz's stupid grin leaned over her face so that she was looking at him upside down. And as for what I want, I've heard some rather interesting news from our friend Mad Max. There's a Mad Max in here. Cease and assist. I love that. Cease and assist. That's good, Ghostly. There's a Mad Max. Hell yeah. Max Rocktansky. He needs gasoline? You just wait. I've heard rumblings that you did this. I've heard rumblings that you did this because of the character Emma. Um, and as for what I want, I've heard some rather interesting news from our friend Mad Max. Gwen raised a skeptical eyebrow. What does Spaz know? Oz sat back and pulled her up with him, his hands grasping her forearms. Uh, Grasping her forearms, though not pleased, Gwen allowed it. Of course it'd be the Spaz. So you know how he runs in all those weird alternative circles. He let go of her so that he could gesture with his hands, but his eyes never left hers. Wait, are you saying these kids aren't running in these alternative circles? they... I guess it depends what you mean by alternative circles. I'm not gonna lie, Ghostly, it's a really funny way to say that. What you gonna do all the way from over another state? Oh, they're throwing threats back and forth. You mean like the goth kids? Gwen was incredulous. He colors his nails black with Sharpie. Obviously, he runs with the goths. All right, smartass Oz sass, thinning his eyes. My point is, he knows the people who know about the cool underground stuff. Oh my god, this Oz kid is such a dweeb. He knows the alternative kids. He knows about the cool underground stuff. I like that. And apparently Maxipoo learned of his little event going on this eve. Okay. Give me 3 weeks. I'll be at your house. Not the Sharpie. Be still, my heart. I did that. That is. Did you pull that from me actually talking about that, Ghostly? I might have. I did used to do it with Sharpie. I did used to do my nails with Sharpie before I became a dignified human being and actually used like nail polish and actually like gave a damn instead of just being like a slacker. We all did that. Gonna hold on to the grudge. Yes, I did. Okay, yeah. Because black nail polish, that's true. It was hard. That was entirely inspired by you. That makes sense. Oh my god. The throwdown that's about to happen between Blue of Green and Ghostly. Absolutely. I'm literally reading a conversation between Gwen and Oz that sounds like the conversation that's happening between Ghostly and Blue of Green right now. It's very funny. Okay. All right, smartass. And apparently Maxipoo learned this little event going on this eve. Gwen sighed to the ceiling and rolled her eyes so hard they almost stuck. I will always love that line. Rolled her eyes so hard they almost stuck. I told you already, I'm not going out tonight. Okay, yes, but hear me out. He cut her off as he sat up again, this time up on his knees, almost like a stage. It's a stage himself. Down a little bit. My point is, wait, okay. This time up on his knee, again, this time up on his knees, almost like a stage himself. I know you said no Halloween this year, which I totally respect, but this secret event tonight might be the coolest thing of the year. Man, I will say, especially learning this when I was writing Schism Ghostly, getting kids to go to a party is clearly the hardest and most unrealistic thing about modern teenage life, I guess. Man, kids do not go to parties. I mean, I guess some kids do, but it is definitely not as... I do love this trend of I'm not going to the party. You're giving a good, like, 90s vibe for it, though, which is, like, you know, depression, angst, you know, lack of the passions sort of thing. But it's a real thing. Gwen rubbed the corners of her eyes, done with this conversation, but knowing he wouldn't give it up till he said his piece. What is it? It's 90s set in the current day. Yeah, I could tell. I mean, they had the laptop. We did not have laptops like that in the 90s. We didn't have laptops at all, unless you were rich. What is it? A jack-o'-lantern smile cut up Oz's face. He held his hands out for a dramatic pause before he delivered his line of the age. Graveyard rave, baby. We gotta go. Gwen blinked. What? Graveyard rave. He waved his bladed hand. As though to emphasize the obvious. Someone is throwing a rave in a graveyard tonight. Goth kids say it starts. I like goth kids say it starts at 10. which means of course it starts at 9. Goth kids aren't showing up there at 9. Oz, that shit is gonna get shut down before it can even start. Gwen was in logic and argument mode. Not in the old graveyard off 44. He smiled with a self-assuredness that made her want to smack him. That sounds like it'd be a full bunch of college kids from Grant. She scrunched her nose as though the words were sour. The words were sour on her tongue. Ugh, yeah, creepy college kids. It works. All those fads are cool again, even if it feels like someone walking over my grave. That's true. Exactly. Oz beamed. Exactly. Oz beamed his smile, one that could rival a carnivorous Cheshire cat. Think about the babes, Gwen. Those modern goddesses and Playboy bunny ears prancing about the night looking to be the final girl. Why? Bro, you watch too many horror movies, man. Like, coming from a horror fan. That's a little sus, dude. It's a little sussy. Bunny is prancing about the night, looking to be the final girl. Oz stood on the bed between the worn holes in his work jeans and the shreds that he called a sweater. Oz was not dressed for October in the Pacific Northwest. We're Pacific Northwest. We're in Portland. We're in Seattle, Oregon, Washington. It's pretty up there. That is like the perfect location for like a solid graveyard rave. I'm gonna. That's good. I do like that you have Oz obviously being a single-minded playboy, or thinks he's a playboy. Man is very sus. Yeah, it's like that's like I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, he wants to go chase around all the people dressed up in Playboy bunny ears, and then when he says like looking to be the final girl, I'm like, I know you're making probably a sex joke, but it's a little weird. It's a weird way to put it, man. He raised a bladed finger in front of his face in an iconic Freddy pose. And what am I but the slasher looking for a final? Yep, see, yeah, of course, he's making it like a. That's really funny, Ghostly. Is he a killer or just a red herring? Only one way to find out. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go on a limb and say red herring just because it's too similar to Scream. But I do love him. I do love this. I do love just how dorky it is to be like, I'm clearly the monster looking for, the final girl as like a hookup line. It's like a pickup line is fucking wild. It's funny. It's the nerdiest pickup line. Gwen groaned like like the freshly undead before slinking backwards off her bed. Is it even a red herring? It would just be exactly, Ghost. It'd be a yellow cod. Slinging backwards off her bed. You're so stupid, Ozzy. She grumbled from the floor. She is channeling like peak like high school era, just goth angst without being even without the goth or like the I don't like anything anymore vibe. Just like gives zero cares in the world. Oz's charisma deflated like a balloon in the cold. He crawled across the bed to look over the edge at her. Gwen's eyes were lidded, a strand of dirty blonde hair laying over the bridge of her nose. If you were going for sexy serial killer, you should have gone as Ghostface or Jason. Hell, Mike Myers would have been better than Freddy. You're missing out on the whole mask thing. Ladies love a mask. It was Oz's turn to scrunch his nose and hide this darling face. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yep. Yeah, he's got zingers. Sometimes there's those people that are beautiful, they know they're beautiful, and they're not gonna stop reminding you that they are beautiful. He gestured across the slightly uneven jawline. I like how you had to add the imperfection there. I'm just telling you, you want to pick up girls on a Halloween. You want to pick up girls on Halloween. Mask is the way to go. Gwen's eyes, magnificent dialogue. It's fantastic. Gwen's eyes crossed to follow the strand of hair as she blew it off her nose. Nice little touch. Oz perched on the edge of her bed with a bladed hand propping up his chin. Nice. His frown curled to something smug as a thought struck him like lightning. And tell me, Gwenny, how do you know the ladies prefer a mask? Are you speaking from experience? Oh, what a sass pot. What? Bro, you're gonna get punched out the window. Her brows lowered as his rose. That's great, Ghostly. That's great. That's a great use of just parallel a parallel image that's just fantastic. Oz lunged back on the bed as a red hairbrush soared for his head. It banged against the rafter, falling to the mattress. Oh, that's fucking great. It banged against the rafter, falling to the mattress. Just because all that shit is off my walls doesn't mean I've forgotten everything, even if I want to. Gwen pushed herself up on the side of the bed, her stare sharp enough to draw blood. I still know the tropes better than I know the drawers in my kitchen, and I still know how freaky horror chicks can be. I like how this is the argument. The argument is just like, I'm a horror chick, but I know other stuff. I used to be a horror chick. That's very funny. I still know how freaky horror chicks can be. Oz was curled up on his side, her pillow his shield, messy hair paired with wide eyes peeking out from behind the fluffy barrier. You're not saying no. Oz scrambled off the other side of the bed as her hand found its way back to the hairbrush. This is not the point, Guinevere, Oz shouted from the abyss. The point is Graveyard Rave. What are you wearing? Gwen loosely tossed the hairbrush off the side of the bed where she guessed he was hunkered. The offended ow confirmed she was right. I told you, I'm not going anywhere tonight. The exasperation was hitting a new peak. But Gwenny, Graveyard Rave. He just keeps saying it. Like, if he says it enough, he will conjure her willingness to go to Graveyard Rave. Like a gopher, Oz popped his head up from the depths. Oh, this is adorable. It's an adorable little scene, Ghostly. Just the constant running around the room, hiding and ducking various thrown objects. His lip puffed in a pout. No Halloween, Oz. She's so gothy, she hates Halloween. She's gone so far goth that she cannot, that now Halloween is not cool. She snapped. Chipped black nails dug into the knees of her sweatpants. Her lips did that thing. Oh, okay, there's a reason, okay. I figured there would probably be a reason, but her lips did that thing where they thinned out in an effort not to tremble. Oz recognized it as her either on the brink of tears or the brink of hurting someone. The mischief that usually possessed him was exercised by an ever-elusive father vulnerability. Oz leaned onto the bed on his elbows. The smile lines around his mouth had filled in and left no trace of the Cheshire grin. The look in his eyes almost made her wish she had just agreed. God, sympathy was worse on him for some reason. That's a great line, Ghostly. Perfect. Gwen had gotten used to it on other people. See, I figured it was something up at home because she loved this and then didn't, and now there's a Dave present. Yeah, her dad be dead. I'm thinking like, yeah, it could be family death or some something to do with like a reason that she ties her love of horror to something that she ties her love of horror to, that is no longer there. When I got used to it on other people, from all the kids at school who never talked to her before, she became the girl whose dad got electrocuted on a movie set. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, that's why we found out. Disgusting. Got electrocuted on a movie set. Oh man. Oh boy. Love the theorizing. Welp. Ah, there it is. Also, what what a way to go. What a way to go. Like a horror movie junkie whose dad dies by being electrocuted probably as an electrician or a gaffer on a movie set. And oh, there's some great tell me it's not slasher core. It's 100% slasher core. That itself, this bit itself is like old 80s schlock slasher level though. Like this is like some shit that I'd see coming out of like a trauma backstory. Like that's really funny, Ghostly. That's definitely it's definitely that is the kind of absurd backstory that's like shock jock stuff. That's fucking great. Like if this was a movie that like pause in their argument would just be intercut with just the absurd shot of like him on a movie set just getting fried in like a borderline cartoon way. like just a flash cut to that. Yeah, 100%. This is 100% like old school 80s shock slasher horror. Fantastic, Ghostly. Cuz you're getting you never know like how sad it's going to get until you have him die in the most absurd way. In the perfect way to make her hatred of horror and Halloween come in strong. The flashback, yeah, with the fakest scream. I could see if someone tried to rig something on the cheap and then wanted to film a rain scene. Oh, this is 100% just non-union, cheap indie filmmaking. Actually, it could just be union. The producers pulling nonsense. Tell you to do something safe and then you zap. Her mom moved on fast. 8 months. Maybe Dave, yeah. Maybe Dave was already lined up there. You work long hours on a movie set, man. You don't know who knows how well that marriage was doing. Disgusting pity from people who never gave a damn to begin with, but not Ozzy. He knew her. He cared. He didn't look at her like a charity case to be pitied. So that look in those brown eyes, she knew better than her own. She knew better than her own was wrong. He was there, assuming they were married before. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gwen, put that fucking face away, Oz. She turned around to face her shell of a room. As she had yet to hurt anyone, the thin in her lips turned to a quiver. Aww. Gwen, her bed squeaked as he pushed off it. Tell me to go out that damn window and you know I'll be gone and we'll pick up tomorrow like I was never here and today was never today. Or tell me you want me to sit on your floor all night in silence. Because you know I will. No questions. But I think you know that neither of those are the right answer. Because the right answer is horror rave. This is a very sweet line. Ghostly, that is then setting up for a punch, which is fantastic. Or just setting up for him to be an absurd character, but that is very sweet. She felt his hand on her shoulder, not the Kruger claws one, just the Oz fingers, familiar from playful jabs in the side, though they were now softer. I'm not doing this right now. She bit the words so they wouldn't break. He sighed. Come out tonight, Gwen, he said gently, almost pleading. We don't have to talk about it. I just don't think being alone tonight is good for you. He's a sweetheart truly. That's the thing, is he's a sweetheart truly. She chewed on her lip, her eyes on the ground. She was torn between being mad at Oz for thinking he knew what she needed and being mad at the fact that he was right. Great line. Where are we at? Okay. All right, we're gonna finish the last page here really quick, and then we'll start the break. With every fiber of her being, she didn't want to leave the house, even less indulge the present holiday. So it was from something deeper than her bones to possess her. It was from something deeper than her bones to possess her to say what she did next. I don't have any of my costumes anymore. It was a quiet defeat that even she didn't understand. She would know. Oh man, dressing up on a horror and Halloween. This is all. It's really good, Ghostly. It's really good. Really good. Just it's really good expressions of character, internal character struggle in the most like, in the almost the most absurd way. It's really good. Um, she would never acknowledge that maybe Ozzy was onto something, but that didn't mean she didn't recognize it. Oz stepped around her to meet her eyes with a mirrored, perplexed look. It was a glance of, it actually worked? I could solve that pretty easy. You down? The hope manifested in a smile peeking in the corner of his mouth. Is Britt gonna be there? She was actually considering it. Oz's face lit up like a switch had been flipped. Obviously Brittany's gonna be there. You really think she would miss a party? Oh, I read that wrong. Is Britt gonna be there? She was looking for some excuse, but the search was half-hearted. Will I know anyone else? Oz already knew what she was playing at. Gwen, it's a rave in the graveyard on Halloween. People aren't going to try to give their sympathies. I think this might be the one public outing you'd be safe of mournful looks. And you'd be right. Gwen chewed her lip as her shock absentmindedly traced the grain in the floodboards. She shook her head, even though her mind was already reluctantly made up. It's just going to be you, me, Britt, and Mad Max, okay? And we'll hang out on the outskirts and rock like we used to in Malcolm's garage. Who's Malcolm? She wiped her palms against her sweatpants, tearing her eyes away from the miscolored rectangle on the wall. You said you had a costume? Nice. All right, we're going to start the down timer. It's a break. Everybody who's coming back from writing, welcome back. Sorry, we just wanted to finish that last page. Who's Malcolm? Who's Malcolm? The world may never know. I'm not going to lie, Ghostly, you might have a knack for writing comedy horror. I mean, you're definitely good at writing comedy. But I think you could get away with, like, I'm thinking, like, because what's coming to my mind is like, I don't know if you've ever read any of Grady Hendrix's stuff. Like My Best Friend's Exorcism, and I remember because I read Horror Store, which was the book that he wrote that's like done like an IKEA thing, but it's like a horror story about like being in an IKEA essentially, but it's designed to look like an IKEA. And then obviously my Best Friend's Exorcism is done like an old VHS. Grady Hendrix is like one of the only outside of Graham Jones or whatever his name is one of the only horror writers that I still, but he's got that like kind of comedy, playful type style of horror. And you're almost there. Like, I'm really digging. I think you could write horror, like comedy horror. Oh, Moon Runes, you're going to hop off. Happy birthday, Moon Runes. Go to bed, sleep, have a great birthday. Have a great birthday weekend. And we will catch you later. There probably will not be streams next week. There might be one stream next week, but it is going to be a mental health / everything is on fire week. So probably no streams, but the week after we'll be back. But please have a great, great birthday, Moon Runes. You deserve it for sure. That is horrifying. Wait, what's horrifying, Ghostly? Good night, Moon Runes. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Good night. Good night. He's a sweetheart too, a genuine good egg. Yeah. Yeah, Grady, I really do think you could, because I remember you saying you liked Army of Darkness, and Sam Raimi, the director of the Evil Dead trilogy, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, and also one of my other favorite horror movies, Drag Me to Hell. It's the only horror movie that gets away with murdering a cat that I can deal with. Because of the way it happens. But it's comedy horror. I feel like you could channel that. IKEA is horrifying. Yeah, it's I should have that book. Let me. Here. So And the thing that's really clever about it is it's done like I don't know if you can see it, but it's done like it's actually done like like the IKEA pamphlet. So there's a lot of like fun design into it, into like the chapter headings and all that. So it's done like an actual IKEA thing. Any themes like it's kind of similar to what I really like that you do, where you actually put a lot of thought into your like aesthetic design, your visual designs into it, which is something if I start actually like really deep diving into novel writing is something I'm definitely going to be ripping off from you, Ghostly. But it's a similar thing here, where that I really appreciate. I think this is like, if you want to do like fun gimmicky horror stuff, this is really great. It's a great way to do it. But your writing, kind of like your playfulness and how punchy it is, reminds me of his stuff. Also, he used to have a great blog, and he turned me on to one of my favorite wild horror films ever made, because he is a big nerd when it comes to horror movies, but he turned me on. He's the only person I've ever read a blog that had seen The Boxer's Omen, which is a bonkers Shaw Brothers Chinese like Hong Kong era, like old 70s era martial art horror movie that is so mind-boggling bizarre and wild that it's like one of my favorite things ever. What? You stealing from me? This Padawan Ghostly, I've told you this millions of times. You don't need senseis. You don't need we're all Padawans and senseis to each other. That's how this works. That is how this works. We all learn and like do things together and get better together. It's the rising tides raise all ships. Do I need to get out the card? I know you made the card, so I'm forever locked into being a sensei. I did not ask to be a sensei. But no. There we go. Quit trying to kick me off your door. So I know every time I talk about how we're all peers and we all like mutually benefit, Ghostly takes it as a I'm being abandoned. I'm being abandoned. The sensei is driving me away. Oh boy. So yes, he is indeed a massive film nerd. Yeah. Oh yeah. Great. Grady Hendrix. You can tell. It's probably why I like his stuff so much. Quit trying to kick me off your doorstep. These are your peers, wife. Thank you, Blue of Green. Blue of Green gets it. No one asked to be a sensei muppet. You are simply called, I guess. I summoned off the mountain where I was peacefully minding my own business, by streaming on Twitch for. Definitely was not expecting to have someone show up in the Twitch chat to be like, I'm your Padawan now, and be like, oh, wait, I'm sorry, what is happening? Being a sensei is not a thing you choose. It is a thing that clearly happens to you. That's my sensei wife. Jesus. What a blessing it is to be a sensei, I guess. You're overjoyed to be a sensei, don't even play. There's a charm there, a reluctance to there's a reluctance and a charm. He also has a book on old campy paperbacks, which is my favorite. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm behind on whatever he's been up to, but I've been a big fan of him for a while. Ghostly adopts her friends and mentors. This is what she does. Okay, so this is the trend. I was adopted too. This is just how it rolls, I guess. Oh, Paperbacks from Hell. Okay. I have seen that in the bookstore. I haven't picked it up there. You don't have a choice. Yeah, I think we've all learned that. We have all learned that. I do have a history of just collecting weirdos and strange. I definitely it's not necessarily off-brand for me. I had a lot of friends of mine who just wound up living with me through high school. That my parents just became other parents to them. So it's definitely a sort of adopting or being adopted, I guess. I choose people and I'm great, so they don't usually leave. As someone with a house of weirdos, same, exactly, Cryptid. Yeah, I think it's just it's the if you're a weirdo and an outsider, you just collect people. You just it's the type they find each other. The tendrils roll out and you just find the other weirdos. The joke is that I run a queer hostel now. That's great, Cryptid. I'd lean into that because then everyone's gonna be wondering if it's actually a queer hostel or like some coven or something. Speaking of which, speaking of my favorite movie, American movie, where the movie he's making is called Coven. The proper pronunciation is Coven. What? No, Coven sounds like oven, man. Anyway, sorry. I knew I was punching up the moment I met you all those years ago. You were. You punched up. You're lucky I turned out great too. Yeah, exactly. Both. It could be both. It's just two awesome people meeting each other. That's clearly what happened. That's why you're both wives. That's why you're. That's why everybody's. That's why it's wifey. Okay, we're gonna run ads, and then we're gonna dive on into chapter 2. I thought I was punching up. Aw. Sweet. All right, we're gonna run ads. I'm gonna go restock on water to try to make my voice hang in there, and we will start in on the next one. Lord knows I have enough witchcraft disguises on to go. This is awesome. This is why your fiance calls me your wife. Perfect. Perfect. That's how it be. All right. Wait. Uh-oh, we got gremlin phase? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what's going on? Usually I'm the gremlin. What's happening? Uh-oh. What? Ghostly, what are you doing? What is happening? Why is it that when I go to restock on tea, I come back and there's like a laundry list of like things that Ghostly's just been throwing out. Wait, throws paper towels. Ghostly, why are you? Oh, okay. So yeah, she's just okay, okay. Sometimes she hides it though. She's always like this. Sometimes you keep it. I stole them. Only the best for what? Okay, all right. I don't even know what's happening. Okay. All right. Ads are over. Let's dive on in. Let's attack. Let's go into episode 2. Don't worry about it. I hope the way you said that is the way Zendaya told Paul Atreides. I like how it's not even Chani anymore. It's just Zendaya told him not to worry about it, or don't bother. What are y'all talking about? Don't bother. It's one of my favorite lines in the movie. Okay. All right. Let's dive on in and start our sprints. If you're writing, good luck with the words. If not, that is the tone I was going for. Yes, you know me too well. Yeah, it's perfect. It's the Zendaya sass tone. All right. We're going to dive on in. Happy writing for everybody out there writing. We are going to continue on with Graveyard Rave, Chapter 2, or Episode 2. All right. Wait, hold on. What was Chapter 1 called? Nightmare. Okay, Nightmare on Gunse. Okay. And now we have Attack of the Boo Crew. For a second, I thought you were doing like a Star Wars prequel titling theme, so because Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Or maybe are all your titles? Maybe the titles are all like plays on movies, even though Attack of the Clones is technically 2000s. All right, diving on in. Happy writing, everyone. That's right. That's right. I keep forgetting Ghostly hasn't seen the prequels or any of the Star Wars movies for that matter. Okay. Happy writing. We'll catch you on the other side. For those hanging out, we're gonna keep on reading. Doop doop doo. It's on the list, the ever-growing list. Episode 2, Attack of the Boo Crew. Nice. It's good rhyme. It's good rhyming. A burnt cherry red Mercury Villager minivan came to a screeching stop its occupants could feel in their bones. Gwen cringed, flashing the glue on Vampire Fang's Oz had given her. Okay, she's dressed as Dracula. I think that banshee shriek has gotten worse. Oz flipped off the ignition with the plastic finger blade. Oh god, he's driving with it. That's funny. He's driving with his gloves. It's based off those. Oh yeah, Attack of the 100-foot. Yeah, Attack of like the spiders or Attack of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, stuff like that. Well, that was a play on the 50s. That was a later 80s movie playing on the 50s. But yes, Attack of the 50-foot woman, things like that. Oh yeah, the bucket. Oz flipped off the ignition with a plastic finger blade. Yeah, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yeah. Thank you. I mixed that up with Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and 90s cartoon. Oh, nice. Oz flipped off. I don't think I'm familiar with the 90s cartoon Boo Crew. It sounds familiar though. That sounds like something that would be a 90s cartoon. Oz flipped off the ignition with a plastic finger blade. He sat up to fix his hair in the rearview mirror. Oh yeah, the bucket is on her deathbed for real, or for real. Oh yeah, I know. It's a poor car. I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's so stupid. That's the beauty of those movies. They're beautifully dumb. They're just the stupidest but funniest horror movies ever. Great. I also love evil space clowns. Just will always love space clowns. You said that 2 years ago. How much longer are you going to keep this life support going? Gwen raised a skeptical eyebrow as she watched him preen. Look, he shot her a side eye. She's a zombie. I cannot help that. My parents said they won't help me out with a new car till this one's fully Raiders of the Lost Ark itself. Trust me, if I could push her into the ocean, I would. The bucket is the opposite of a chick magnet. It's got me at negative bitches at this point. I mean, the idea of a squealing van where he's just like, you want to come back and make out in my car? And just someone being like, you want me to take me back to your creepy death van? No, thank you. That's really funny. Now, if you make that creepy death van a VW bus So it's a hippie van, even though it's a death van. Totally different vibes. Completely different. Just saying. That thing cannot work. It has different vibes. But evil death van, particularly a villager minivan, just saying. This is a ghostly sensei. I'm just saying, man. VW Bus has Riz, as they say. You don't have to, just the car. Trust me, if I could push her into the ocean, I would. The bucket is the opposite of a sensei lock in. Okay. It got me negative. It got me at negative bitches at this point. He reached across Gwen to the glove box where he dug through the litter to find his prize, a glass bottle of a drugstore cologne. Gwen scoffed as she watched the movement. You're indebted bitches. The IRS will be coming for me any day now. He sprayed himself generously before plopping the bottle in a cup holder. He ran a hand through his hair to give it that windswept look before smiling and chinning up the rear view. Gwen rolled her eyes and rubbed a hand down her face. She swallowed and looked down at herself. Last year, she would have thought this attempt at a costume was pathetic. Black jeans, a Misfits t-shirt, and Docs. The only real saving grace was the velvet jacket, a real gem of the thrift. It was the blood red dinner jacket with tails. Oh, that's nice. Hell yeah. Along with the crescent moon wings that connected the arms with the crescent moon wings that connected the arms to the torso. But what would have been a disappointment last year now felt like far too much. Gwen swallowed the traitorous feeling in her gut. She was wearing enemy colors now, but she wasn't about to soil the holiday that was still an ally in Oz's eyes. Ooh. The holiday, the literal Halloween is the villain. Or is the enemy in her mind. Oof. Oz let out a puff as he shook his hands as if to strike. Yeah, he gets it. Yep. The monster is Halloween itself. Oz lets out a puff as he shook his hand. Oz let out a puff as he shook his hands as if to strike himself up for the big game. Some of the cords that squeezed Gwen's heart loosened in a smile as she watched him. What the hell are you doing? You act like you're about to fight Mike Tyson. Oz scoffed and used a bladed finger to correct a stray strand of hair. This is the big league, Gwenny. College girls. Oh, God. Oh boy. Oh, they are going to destroy you, Oz. A man has to look like something worth potential jail. That's a good line, Ghostly. A man has to look like something worth potential jail. I can see why you like Oz a lot. He's an absurd creature. Every boy into women has been this kid. Oh, 100%. Yes. We've all. I know this. I know this desire well, and I'm just telling you right now, buddy. You are a plaything. Oh boy. By a learned self-preservation instinct honed over the years, he managed to catch her hand before it could slap his arms as though it was a crowbar and he was Tanya Harding's kneecaps. Jesus Christ, Ghostly, what? What? That's okay. That's there. Okay. Wait. Also, way to do a throwback there to a big '90s thing. Well done. Well played. I'm pretty sure that took place in the '90s. But well played, kid. Well played. One day I have to get you to listen to that Fall Out Boy song. This is my edgy and cheesy horrors. Let me. I Ghostly, go for it. Nothing is sacred. I am all for it. I'm genuinely shocked. That's a line. Her glare was just as blunt, though. The hell that's supposed to mean? You're legal. With his free hand that wasn't holding her crowbar arm, he held it up to diffuse the air. Simple, Gwenny. I'm legal. but not enough to be out of jailbait waters. Oh my god, he's doing the same exact argument that Virgil did, Ghostly. He's doing the exact same argument. For those curious, it's Stay Frosty milk tea. I told you this was my post schism. This was the post schism thing. I gotcha. I was like, it's straight up doing Virgil. Just to be complimented. I told you it's my post schism just be complimented. I am flat. I am complimented. It is deeply humbling to see you channeling Virgil, these little nuggets of Virgil into Oz's insane disposition. But not enough to be out of jailbait waters. Not to mention, most ladies just like them older. So I have to look good enough to get over that and risk a felony. It's a hefty order. Oz released her arm to lick his thumb before slicking back his eyebrows, but I think good old Oz Gomez can manage. Gwen rolled her eyes so hard her head moved with them. I do love, Ghostly, all the different ways you've re-said the same sentence with rolled eyes so hard that it's very funny. It is funny, and you consistently come up with new ways to describe how hard someone is rolling their eyes. It is truly impressive. That's the only reason you wanted to come, isn't it? Oz put a hand to his heart as though he's the best thing I've ever made. Oz put a hand to his heart as though to hold it in. Perish the thought. I wanted to go because it's a graveyard rave. The babes are just a bonus. Gwen let her incredulity override her reluctance to push her to open the car door. You're so stupid. You're so stupid, though scoff betrayed a suppressed laugh. Oz's argument was cut short by the door slamming. The makeshift parking lot was a clearing off the side of the dilapidated offshoot road that snaked off a feeder road. Oh yeah, so you're out in the boonies. That's three roads removed from asphalt. It was dark, save for the tiki torches that smattered the tree line. Gwen spun to take in the decent-sized clearing that proved to be more of a maze with a cluster of cars. She guessed there had to be at least over 40 cars there, most of which probably carrying more than one person. It's a big party. By the time she made the full rotation to be facing the bucket again, Oz's chin was resting on the roof, looking at her with a squinted pout. Frickin' rude. He put on his best Valley Girl accent. Gwen was unfazed. Sue me. She walked around to the front of the car, her eyes ever pivoting around the woods that loomed above her. It's funny. Just you can't have someone just stop mid-sentence by slamming a door. Gwen was never one to fear the dark or the unknown, but she was also never one for risk, and this was a far cry from playing it safe. Oz noticed her uneasy eyes and slipped across the hood like he was some kind of cool guy. Nice. He draped a friendly arm over her shoulder, leaning down to her level. I saw Brit's bug back there. Shouldn't keep her waiting on the lonesome. He gave her an encouraging smile as he led her towards the distant sound of the subwoofers. The feeling in their feet led their path just as much as sound. The evergreen trees stood as ancient skyscrapers holding up the stars. They were spaced decently, but they were very much in the thick of the woods. The wind blew about the leaves like a sigh from the city. It was properly dark by then, the tiki torches fading behind them to leave them in the washy shadows. It was the stars and the vague, colorful lighting from through the woods that lit their path. Nice. I do love, Ghostly, flashing back to what, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, where you were talking about not being confident in atmosphere descriptions and only dialogue, because your atmospherics are getting fantastic. It's just really good. You do a really good job painting the picture. You've just gotten better and better every time you've done it. Gwen absentmindedly ran her tongue over her fangs, her hands fiddling with the velvet of her jacket. Yeah, she has. Yep, for sure. Oz was the master at noticing her tells. He knew her habits better than she did. His smile faltered as he took a breath. In the same moment, he slipped his hand into hers. You tell me if it's too much and you need to go. He spoke quietly. Oh, yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's an absurd character, but he's a sweetheart. Gwen's shoulders loosened of attention she hadn't noticed at his gesture. She let herself sigh as her head fell back to face the inky heavens. Thanks, Ozzy. I'm okay. Thoughts are just real loud right now. It's a great line. I love that. It's a very good teenager line. Thoughts are just real loud right now. It's good. It's poetic, captures the angst, and actually is plausibly something a teenager would say. It's good shit. Oz kept his eyes on the slowly growing light ahead. He managed a slight encouraging smile as he squeezed her hand. Well, maybe some music will drown them out then. Gwen nodded, forcing on a paper-thin smile as she glanced at him. Yeah, hopefully. The graveyard rave was a sight to behold. Past the trees opened up a massive clearing. An overgrown iron fence was stood bent and rusted around the perimeter they could not see an end to. Man-made fog crawled around the broken, mossed-over tombstones that smattered the space. At the heart was a stage far larger and professional-looking than one would expect from an under-the-radar rave in a graveyard. Purple and green lights rotated around the mosh pit that had gathered at its base. Oh, there's a mosh? A band dressed as alt skeletons played atop Oh, now I see. Now I see where all this Oingo Boingo talk is coming from. A band dressed as alt skeletons played atop the stage as though this was their Virgil. Oh, there you go. This was their Virgil. I see what you did there. I hate them. Yeah, I was like, you're dressing them up just the way Oingo Boingo dressed when they do their shows. All skeleton outfits. The music wasn't bad, but nothing that loud would really be considered good by casual ears. But the goths were eating it up. The music wasn't bad, but nothing that loud is really considered good by casual ears. It's funny. Gwen's fang dented her lip as she clenched her teeth. She kept close behind Oz, who was slowly pulling her into the party. Her eyes skipped along the other people straddling the sidelines. A crow costume was helping along Thorm from the Hex Girls. Oh, nice. Helping along Thorm from the Hex Girls, who looked to already be drunk off her ass. A few guys in bear costumes, who were either the Grateful Dead or furries, were smoking weed. Oh, those guys are 100% deadheads. Leading onto a headstone and watching the festivities, their heads decorating the ground. Just goths moved in the dark droves like waves of angst and eyeliner. Like a sea, like an infinite black sea of dark-hearted angst. The funniest part of your hate of them is Oingo Boingo has played at Halloween parties ever. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that is the funny part about it. Not my Halloween parties. I'm better than that. But yeah. They do. Pretty much any Halloween party you go to, they're definitely gonna be playing at least one or two Oingo Boingo songs. Gwen found her head was on a swivel as she tried to take it all in, when she really just wanted to watch her feet. Ghostly, I'm resigning. Yeah, Oingo Boingo is a band that Ghostly hates. That the lead singer is famously, I mean, they were like a goth quirk band from the 80s, and the song Dead Man's Party is the one they're most well known for. But the lead singer was Danny Elfman, who did like the theme song to Batman, all of Tim Burton's movies. More famous now as a film composer than ever was at Oingo Boingo. But okay. Gwen found her head was on a swivel as she tried to take it all in, when she really just wanted to watch her feet. But the anxiety that strangled her puppet strings would never allow her to be anything short of high alert. That's a great description of anxiety. Oz was just as enraptured by this strange new world. Okay, there we go. It's like, where'd the music go? Oz was just as enraptured by the strange new world, but it was from a perspective of awe. He was too focused on the short pleated skirts to notice what eagle eye Gwen saw. Ghostly, just Ghostly describing how these two characters observe a party is very funny. Just one is Gwen taking in the vibes, on high alert, trying to see everything, and the other one's just skirt chasing. Oh, Jesus. What are you? I love Blue at Green. What are you gonna do if I like the band? Ghostly, you won't dare. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Ghostly would do if Ghostly found out anyone liked Oingo Boingo. God forbid the fact that like one of my best friends in the world, it was her favorite band. I actually saw them live with her. That was for her. That was for her. Oz was just as enraptured by the strange new world, but it was from a perspective of awe. He was too focused on the short pleated skirts to notice what Eagle Eye Gwen saw. Off a little further, past a semicircle of coolers and a bunch of frat bros shotgunning anything cold and wet, was a bright pink sore thumb. Jesus, great description of the frat bros. Cowboy Barbie was sat on top of a gravestone, ignoring the non-subtle oogling from the frat bros. Cowboy Barbie. Okay. Her pink bedazzled cowgirl hat was tipped down over her eyes as she played on her phone, but there was no question it was Britney. Her inky black hair waved down her shoulders and ended at her ribs. Okay. Oh man, that is okay. Gwen elbowed Oz, who was about to break his neck watching the anatomy of a modernized Elvira. A modernized Elvira? What does a modernized Elvira look like? Elvira was already like a sex symbol. What does that even look like? His head swiveled back around, blinking a few times. Quit looking with your dick, Gwen reprimanded, pointing a fingerless gloved hand at Barbie. Found Brit. Oz smiled. His inner golden retriever overpowered his hormones. OMG, hey, girly pop. His voice rose a few octaves in a feminine imitation as he broadly waved to Brittany. That's up to the viewer. Okay. Oz smiled. His inner golden retriever overpowered his hormones. OMG, hey, girly pop. His voice rose a few octaves in a feminine imitation as he broadly waved to Brittany. That's of course it sounded wrong coming from me. What did you expect? It's Riz all over again. That's how it's gonna be. OMG. Language is a playground, damn it, and I refuse to believe old people can't participate. Britt looked up. Oz smile contagious. Oh my god, hi. She played up her Valley Girl voice. Oh yeah, they're straight up doing Valley Girl voices. Jumping off the tombstone with her hands on her cheeks in mock shock. What are you doing here, girl? Britt jogged over, Oz and Gwen meeting her halfway. Oz stood with one hand on his hip, the other gesturing with sass. Bitch, you thought we would miss this? It's our spontaneous era. Gwen smiled in spite of the anxiety that made her bones feel shrink-wrapped. Oh yeah, you wrote this, Ghostly. You wrote this and you wanted me to read it. So, yeah, this is what you're getting. It's our spontaneous era? I'm going to start saying that. It's my spontaneous era. I'm actually in my health era right now, to be honest with you. There you go. Oh God. Oh God, it's happening. Starting a whole new vocabulary. Ghostly, I'm gonna cry. What did you want me to say? Mumble, 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 grumble, grumble, Zoomer language. Yeah, it's very funny. It's very funny. Let's see here. Gwen smiled in spite of the anxiety that made her bones feel shrink-wrapped. This was the usual greeting of Oz and Britt. It was his friendly jab at her basic white girl tendencies, even though she was dominantly Cherokee. That's funny. That's good too. But what had started as a joke became the simple standard, as it often does. If you combine that with Delio and Rizup, I think you'll open a hellmouth. Hey man, I'm gonna use them. My new favorite thing is to use both those words in a single sentence. The more I can do that in life, the more I've fulfilled my purpose for being here. Britt turned her attention to Gwen, looking her up and down with a grin. Looking good, baby girl. Aw, called her baby girl. Cute. She snapped her fingers at her. Loving the casual with the Victorian. It's giving vampire who can't pick a time period in the best way possible. That's good. I like that. Gwen chuckled at that, even if it wasn't particularly funny. Britt had a way of pulling joy out of everyone. Aw. Thanks, babe. You look drop dead gorgeous as always. Is this what you made in your sewing class at the Y? Brittany preened, swishing her hair back as she winked and gave a little spin, finishing off with a little leg lift. Yes, I spent forever on her, and she's purely giving. Diva was Gwen's simple agreement and praise. Oz was leaning over the crumbled grave, listening to the exchange as though it was the hot goss. He rested his elbows on the stone, his hands limply out as if letting his nails dry. If one used their imagination, the Kruger claws could play the part of shiny acrylics. Oh yeah, that's a nice little touch. In his vulnerable position with his attention riveted on the girls in front of him, he failed to notice the dark shadow slowly approaching from behind. Yep, gotta have a jump scare. Gwen caught the movement out of the corner of her eye. She felt her heart drop as she turned. Her world pinned down to a fisheye. Nice. There we go, Ghostly. I like that. Bringing out the film language, the push-pull, dolly zoom into the full fisheye. The hammer of her heart was reminiscent of the Jaws theme. Yeah. Oh, there you go. You're straight up the one of the most famous push-pulls in film history. That literal shot of Brody on the beach with Jaws. The hammer of the heart was reminiscent of the Jaws theme. The string symphony in her mind hit her screaming crescendo with a sudden leap from the dark. She spun around to find a hooded figure stooped over Oz, their face going for the side of his neck. Whoa! Her body tensed to fly over that grave at the guy like a wild Karen, but she froze as Oz noticed it. His eyes went wide, his frame slowly leaning back. From his angle, Oz could see up the figure's hood. He blinked, and shock terror melted his shock terror melted to his usual Oz smirk. At least buy me dinner first, Drac. I'm a man of class. He wiggled his eyes at the figure, tilting his head back. Oh, the mysterious stranger leaned up, pulling off the hood. Give me a date and time, and I'll show you the time of your life, big boy. Oh God, it was a dry jest, and it's Nosferatu. Actually, it would be Nosferatu, naturally. Oh, is this Max? Is that how Max enters? like a goddamn spaz vampire. Oh boy, here we go. Max was paler than usual. Fair. Likely his mother's old foundation being the culprit. That makes sense. Paler than usual, though. You gotta maintain that pay. It is the boy. Okay. His scraggy, untamed hair was decently slicked back on his scalp. Oh, is he? Are we doing modern? I guess if he's got hair, you're doing the new Nosferatu. The updated Nosferatu. Though it was clearly the last ditch effort. He leaned back at an angle on his feet. Just read and trust. I put my faith unwavering in you, Ghostly. Leaned back at an angle at his feet, giving him this off-kilter look that fell upon the edges of the uncanny valley. The Jaws theme faded in Gwen's heart. She let her shoulders loosen as she looked at the last of their party. Wasn't Nosferatu bald with pointy ears? Max shrugged. Bald cap didn't like me, and my ears are pointy enough on their own. Yeah, it's fair. Use it to your advantage, man. Oz sat on the grave, running the plastic blades through his hair. I'm with Gwen in this one. The effort was lacking here, Maxie Moo. Be nice. Britt slapped his arm. Not everyone has the time. You cut holes. That's true. Not everyone has time to have a banger Halloween costume. You cut holes in the sweater and put on a hat with a glove. And I did minimal effort. Max held up a hand fanged with long held up a hand fanged with long press held up a hand fanged with long press on nails sharpened to a point. Hell yeah. Oz put an offended bladed hand in his heart. I'll have you know, I am going as a walking sex machine. Thank you, Max. Halloween is all about wish fulfillment. I'm glad you're living it to the truest. While Oz and Max went back and forth, Britt took one of Max's hands to examine the nails. Ooh, these are cute. Love these on you. Really? I was worried the color clashed with my cape. Max's ever-flat tone that blurred the lines of jest and genuine drone to be... oh, he reads as a drone? I guess if he's doing the goth thing, he would do that. He would do the flat drone tone. Lines that get Max's ever-flat tone was blurred. That blurred the lines of jest and genuine drone to be one of the background noises as Gwen zoned out. Maybe it was the overstimulation. Maybe it was the fallout of the constant anxiety. Her focus slipped from her as the all-encompassing everything that was the graveyard rave clogged her senses. The world slowed, the lights flooding everything in color. The music was only a dull drone she could feel more than hear. Oh, she's getting the sixth sense. Like a roving camera, her eyes wove around the stones and liquored up youth. Through the groups of friends laughing and dancing, her eyes met the cold stare of a hockey mask. It would be. You're finding the one person in a mask who doesn't belong amongst the masked folk. He was stood in the midst of the pit, a writhing alt mass of young people all swimming around the lone Jason Voorhees. He was stood perfectly still as the chaos raged around him. If she wasn't too entrapped by the blank stare and overstimulation, she would have thought the costume lazy. Jeans, black hoodie, cheap Jason mask. Even Oz had made the effort to cut the allegedly sexy holes in his sweater. Before she could muster a thought, a tall goth, Ronald McDonald, danced in her line of sight. Oh, I got it. Okay, for a second I was like, did you please Sony did not actually name someone. But a goth, what does a goth Ronald McDonald look like? That is, I don't even know what that image conjures, but it is an image. That's a good a nightmare. I was like, exactly, like a goth clown. Black and white instead of red and yellow. That makes sense. It's a crime clown. Okay. I guess that would... Okay. Think about it. Goth Ronald McDonald. So that's your throw to crime clown. Okay. For some reason, I always thought the crime clowns is more punk than goth. But I see it. I do see it. I see it. I see what you're going for. Goth Ronald McDonald. So I do like that you're obstructing... Yeah, this is where the villain vanishes and now stalks the party. All thanks to Goth Ronald McDonald. To our good old crime clown. Gwen blinked, the trance broken, like she had taken out earplugs. Noise flooded her ears. And then the world was fast again. You wish you looked this good. Watch me accumulate bitches with compound interest, Oz was talking when she came to. Good lord. This is all this kid talks about. But Gwen's attention was still on the pit. Goth McDonald was pulled into the dance by Monochrome Chucky in a way. Monochrome Chucky. Okay, that wins all character description. Monochrome Chucky wins. That wins the night. 11 out of 10. That one. But there was no Jason to be seen behind him. Gwen blinked, rubbing her eyes with one hand before scanning the crowd. This is why I asked what goths wear on Halloween. When we were like, they don't wear anything, they just dress as themselves, or sometimes will. Oh, that's funny. Gwen blinked, rubbing her eyes with one hand before scanning the crowd. Compound interest? Oz, the only way you're getting bitches is by landing a job at the dog shelter. Max didn't even need time to think. It was annoyingly effortless. Are you fucking throwing shade at me, kid? Why do I get a feeling? I'm pretty sure I remember. There was something you wrote in your. There was something you wrote in your reaction to Schism that I believe was literally phrased annoyingly effortless based on a line of dialogue I gave someone. That is 100% you throwing shade my way. Well done. All right. Well done. Well done. It's a meta. It's a meta joke, but I'm fine with it. It's annoyingly effortless. Oh, that's funny. That's rich coming from the guy who wore a trench coat for every day of his high school experience. True. Oz snorted. Gwen squinted through the mosh of costume weirdos to find not a trace of Jason. A zap of electricity ran from the back of her brain down her neck and to the base of her spine, resulting in a shudder. Why did that make her so uneasy? It was just a costume freak, which is literally everyone around her. Ah, but no, this is the sense of the uncanny. She tried to brush it off as she rubbed her arms and cued back into conversation, but it was too late. She had been noticed. You good, Gwen? It was Max, who had ditched the verbal sparring match with Oz when he glanced and met her eyes and saw there was something there. Yeah, just getting used to the place. She breathed the lie. It wasn't super believable, but she knew they wouldn't question her further. After your dad died in a horrific accident, people stop prying when you get a distant look in your eyes. That's true. Oz's smile drooped a bit, even though he tried to hold it up. He passed Max to put an arm around Gwen's shoulder and pull her against him. Tell the spaz, I got a whole gaggle of hoes, Gwenny. Gaggle of hoes, Jesus. This clown thinks, tell the spaz I got a whole gaggle of hoes, Gwenny. This clown thinks I can't pull. He forced his voice even more animated than usual. He wasn't subtle with his attempt to lift the mood and change the subject, but that doesn't mean it wasn't appreciated. Gwen managed a vague smirk. I don't know, Ozzy. You've never had it with the upper... You've never had a lot of upper body strength. Oh, that's a burn. New ska band, Gaggle of Hoes. They all dress like Bjork. That's good. Oz slid her a thin-lipped, wide-eyed look that spoke the words before he had to. But that didn't stop his lips from reiterating what his face said. Bitch, don't kill my vibe, he sassed in his white girl voice. That got a laugh from Gwen. That stupid voice always managed to do her in. She let herself be pulled into the little huddle their group formed around one of the graves. Nice. I like that. That's good. I like that. Everyone just... I like the image of everybody in a huddle literally around a grave. Max was already cooking up another blow to throw at Oz, who was just smiling smugly, his head on Gwen's shoulder as he narrowed his eyes at the challenge. Brittany was leaning on the grave, watching the show. Brittany was leaned on the grave, watching the show with eyes squinted from laughter and a hand over her mouth. Through the chaos that surrounded her, this familiar scene eased some of anxiety that strung up Gwen's insides, though it was still there. It wasn't as strangling. She found her smile become a little more pronounced as Oz put his hand on his hip, and the beginning of a wonderful back and forth ramped up. The hairs on the back of her neck weren't so easily subdued. She looked over her shoulder to the grounds one more time, feeling the burning of eyes, but seeing no one staring. Hot damn, Ghostly. The huddle is actually very perfect for this environment. It fits. It does. A goth club is often just a series of huddles around dance. That's true. And they all dance like bats anyway, so they're all kind of like doing doing that whole thing. It's good, Ghostly. I really do. I think you might have a knack for horror comedy. I mean, they function on similar principles. It's all tension and release is essentially setting up a joke and paying a joke off. And so they rely on similar like narrative principles. So you're kind of you're moving very quickly into like being pretty as just a lark. And if you were starting this off as just a lark, this might be more than a lark. You're definitely channeling vibes. It's got horror nerd vibes, which, you know, if Scream is any indication, horror nerds love their self-referential stuff. But you're doing a really good job channeling this. And it's interesting. It's interesting to compare and contrast this with your more overt comedic stuff, your sort of like road trip story, and then you doing Jessup, which is much more like dramatic and a little more raw. And then going into this, which is a very pitched thing. You might be playing to some strengths, I think, here. You have a knack for taking up new projects and making them work well, but I think you might have something here. At least in the way that you're setting it all up. Oh, folks at my dance club, we had a few who were very good. It was a nice mix. Yeah, you always have the good ones and then just the people who just are weird. Or what I call the Bella Lugosi is dead dance. Thank you. I also thought the same, that she needs to dig more into this as a body of work. I'm not. Thank you. It is coming from a place of love. I am already celebrating Halloween. I mean, Halloween. I love Halloween, but this is really good, Ghostly. It's very good. I mean, you throwing shade at me and the sort of like the placement character aside, it's really good. I think you could do horror comedy. You're clearly having fun with it, which is the most important thing. It'll be a silly little romp. It's shorter, and I hope to actually finish it. I mean, that's fine. That's actually a good thing, Ghostly. Don't, particularly for like a horror comedy, don't overthink it. It can be about other things, but you know. All right, and that is the end of the sprint. That is the end of our reading of Ghostly's first two chapters of Graveyard Rave. Big fan, big fan. It's good so far, Ghostly. I need to see where it's gonna go. I need to see what you're gonna do with it. Very excited, very excited. But for anybody who is out there doing pages and writing, hopefully you got the words done. But that is probably where we're gonna call it stream-wise. We're not going to do another sprint or anything like that in terms of like writing. So, it's so good. I had really fun with it. Right. Yeah. Blue Gray. It's fantastic. It's also just a really fun read, Ghostly. Like not everything you don't. Yeah. Don't. Yeah. The worst thing about reading my shit is I'm too far up my own ass. Like you gotta having fun with it is good. It's good to write something simple and stupid and that's just fun to write oftentimes is not simple and stupid. So I really look forward to seeing how you resolve this and wrapping it up. It's so good. Yeah. Proud of you, kiddo. This is bad and can't wait to see where it goes. Yeah. Yeah. Please don't. Yeah. And don't think any lesser of it because it is short and simple. I honestly think you're doing a really good job shining through it. Think you'll have it done by Halloween? Yeah, is this going to be a Halloween? Are you going to have this wrapped up? I really hope so. Hell yes. Hell yes. Hush Muppet. Yeah, that's fair. But I'm excited, Ghostly. I'm excited to see where you take this. Yeah. Great work. Of course. As always, it's a blast to read it. Yeah. Yeah, and also very much looking forward to reading reading more of Jessup and more of all your other works. I'm really curious about what you've done with Pretensions too. But you're working on a lot of stuff, so definitely give yourself don't be too hard on yourself. You're writing like a million things, so you can't constantly be outdoing us, Ghostly. You gotta leave some things for the rest of us old slow folk. I will try to bring some more Vamp book. Yeah, I did. I really liked your opening, Cryptid. Your opening of Vamp is fantastic. I really enjoyed that. First two chapters is great. Um, oh, stop. Oh, you wrote the best movie. I don't know about that. Yeah, it's all right. It works. I'm still just compiling. My readers are just not getting back to me on that script. It is getting frustrating. I think everybody makes it like halfway through, and then I don't hear back from them anymore. So I'm trying to get. I need notes. I've got things I need to change on it. I already have my compiled list of changes for the next draft. I just want their notes before I dive into it, so I can deal with that. You wrote an award-winning movie. Oh, that's. I wrote. Yeah, that script is a whole other thing. That's a long story and a crazy story, but yes. Oh yeah, that one too. Schism is a masterpiece. It is not a masterpiece, Ghostly. I mean, thank you. It's very kind of you, but there maybe, if I'm lucky, I can try to make it good, border on great, but I don't know, not masterpiece. I can reread it and give more notes. I can make another essay. If you want to, that's up to you. I still, the only reason I haven't dived in to do a second draft, I already know there's certain location changes and some setups that I need to do and change, to clean some things up. I can make another essay. I could have a video analysis. Wait, that's it. Wait, what's it? Oh no, go say you're gonna do a video analysis of a script for a movie that doesn't exist. Jesus. We'll see. We'll don't worry. I'm making a video analysis. Oh god. Well, we'll worry about all that nonsense later. But as far as this is concerned, this is fantastic work. That's the next project. Calm down, Ghostly. Calm down, kid. But as far as this goes, it's fantastic. I can't wait to read the rest of it. And yeah, hopefully it'll be something that you can finish that you can feel really good about, Ghostly, because it is really good. That's going to be a clubhouse to remember. Oh, I'm sure. All right, everybody. We are going to probably call it, I guess, as Metallica is blaring in the background. Yeah, I gotta go get some sleep. And next week, I will keep everybody posted about if there will be a stream next week. I'm probably gonna lean that there probably won't be. So we will see. You're not allowed to stream. Well, it might be a necessary thing. So, we will find out. And go rest. Yes. Take you a day. Yeah, it might be a week. We so we will see. But we were at the ER with the golden boy all last night. So I have no idea what kind of week we're looking at. So we will see. Thanks for, yeah, of course, Blue of Green. Thanks for me again. Of course, it's always a blast to have you. You're always welcome in. If you want to work on stuff or do anything, feel free to hang on out. You a week, a month. It won't take a month. Yeah, it won't be a month off, but we'll probably be off for next week for sure. But I will keep everybody posted. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. Yeah, and we'll if I don't see you all next week, have a good next week. Go get the words. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind